I just open my notes. Always take notes. So today we're going to be talking about day ones. Day ones, in my experience, are not anything to do with first days. So first days of school, things that you have to do that are mandatory, I don't consider as day ones. Day ones to me are things that you choose to do, something that you want to do for yourself or something that you want to change. So that's, in my experience, that was starting a martial art, wanting to better myself with producing videos, blogs, vlogs, learning and teaching myself how to build websites like WordPress websites, or by scratch learning HTML and CSS and JavaScript and all of that. Those are what I consider day ones. And you can have tons and tons of day ones in your life. It's not just about one thing. So for this and the whole AverageBobFitness, I like to talk about like the health and wellness of individuals and finding your happiness. So day one is the day that you start something that you decided to do. So for example, starting to get in shape, fitness. Your day one is the day that you get in your car and you drive to your gym and you work out with your routine, and that's your day one. And then you go to day two and day three and day four, and the more days you get by, the less often you're going to run into those experiences. So you can have tens of thousands of hundreds of thousands of day ones, but you may only have a handful of day 1000s. Day ones are important. Day ones are your first step in your journey to reaching your goal that you set for yourself. And goals are a completely different video that I'm working on. But just starting is important, and to know that you're beginning something that's not a temporary thing. Doing a day one means that you want to change something about yourself because you want to be healthier, happier, more fit, more educated, something that you're going to intrinsically gather information for, or intrinsically be rewarded. When you create a day one, and you say that I want to be more fit, I want to be healthier, I want to be happier, I want to be more educated, that is when you start and you make your plan and you set your goals. And the day one is that moment for yourself. And it's super important that you realize that you're creating that moment, so that you can look back in 100 days, 200 days, 1,000 days, and look back and be like, I'm on day 1000. I'm so glad that I took that day one. It could be for anything. So the day ones are important. And even if you have a hiccup, or say your fitness, you kind of fell off of it for a month or 2 months, and then you get back to it, you can have that day one again. And then you can still look back and say, hey, I started my journey a year ago, 365 days ago. And I think that's pretty important. And when you're on your day one, remember that it's nothing that is short term. You're not thinking about 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. You're thinking about, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. You think about the long term. Don't set your goal for a day one to be something that you're going to complete in a month. It's a journey. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. You want to go back to school. You're not going to finish school in 2 weeks. You're going to want to, buckle down and study right and take 2 years for an associate's or 4 years for your bachelor's or however many for your master's, PhD, whatever you want to do. But you have to start with that day one. So give yourself a realistic target that you want to make, and then make a plan from there. And your plan is always changing. And find people who are going to help you with that plan. Don't be afraid to ask somebody their opinion, or if you have a question or need help, ask myself. Drop a comment. I'm more than happy to help. I reach out to people all the time. I'm not an expert. I feel like I'm a jack of all trades. I've taught myself a lot of different things that I can do. And I'm self-taught in a lot of these things, and I'm successful in some of these things as well. And instead of me thinking that I know it all, I still go out and ask people a question. I know that certain people have more experience in this situation. I talk to business owners about how should I run an LLC? How should I deal with my taxes? How do you get across to customers and telling customers how to say no? And I pull all of that stuff, and that's what I want to be able to bring to the table to other people, is that I have information that I can give to other people, and I want people to learn from me. But I'm just as willing to learn from everybody else, and that's very important. So plan for that on your day one as well. Find your friends, find your experts, find the people who have already done it, who've already lived through day one, day two, day three, day 1,000. Get to them, talk to them. They're there, and they're going to be able to teach you just as much. When it comes to day ones, find your motivation. Find what's going to get you to those goals. Don't be afraid to say that you don't like something. Obviously, if your goal is to become a better runner, you're going to need to run. But say your goal is to be more fit, that doesn't mean that you have to be a good runner, nor that you have to run at all. You can jump on a bike, you could jump on an elliptical, you can swim. So you need to find what's going to make you happy in your journey. So obviously, if you don't like running, and to become a better runner, you're going to need to run. And if you don't like running, maybe that's not the goal for you. If your goal is to be more fit, then yes, you can do things that other than running if you don't like running. As somebody who hates running, I don't. I train martial arts. Martial arts gives me the cardio I need to be fit, helps me lose weight, helps me eat better, because I know that I feel worse training if I can't do certain things on the mat. So I'll eat right so I don't feel as sluggish on the mat, and that helps me a lot. Find something that's going to make you intrinsically happy. Intrinsically means that it's not something that's obvious. You don't need to give yourself a treat every time that you do something right. It's nice, yes, but in the long term, those things don't work. You don't get the same amount of joy every time you treat yourself. So if I go for, a 10-minute run, and when I get home, I'm allowed to have a muffin. That muffin is not going to be as good every time that you run. You're going to need more and more and more to give to yourself, and that's not something that you want. You want to make yourself happy with the results more than the reward. And don't penalize yourself either. That's another thing that people like to do when they're trying to get to past these day ones. They like to, say, I didn't work out yesterday, so I need to work out twice as hard today. No, you really don't. You can miss a day. One day of fitness isn't going to change your life, and one day of bad eating is also not going to change your life. It's the continuous goals that you find that you need to keep working and pushing and getting and reaching. So set a goal, set a reasonable goal. On day one, put it on a board. I have a whiteboard that I have sitting up, and I can look. I see it every day, and it tells me I want to be 165 pounds with 15% body fat. There is no target date for that. I'm okay if I make that in 2 years. That's my day one goals, and that's my day one. So day one, figure out what's important to you. Realize that you're doing it day one. Write it down. Write down the day that you have it so that when you look back at it, you can be proud of yourself when you're done with it. Don't be afraid to set a goal that is reasonable, that you can reach and that you can attain. And it's okay to not set a date or a timeline to do it, as long as you're always striving towards that goal, and realize that when you're off track. And it's okay to have the same day one again. If you failed at doing something in the past, it's okay to fail, and it's okay to do that. Do it again, start again, figure out why you failed and do it again. And don't forget to find your friends, find your family, find your experts. Feel free to reach out to the community and ask them, what did you do to get to your goal? What did you do to succeed? And keep doing that. So thanks for watching. Live happy, live healthy.